This is your stimulus check update information. So President Biden right now is actually going in and he's saying that they need to extend out the unemployment benefits. Now, some of the benefits that are coming due on September 6th are going to be expiring, but he's saying, hey, we sent out a bunch of money to each state and these states are going to need to turn around and go ahead and give those stimulus out to everybody. Right now, there's about 9 states that are going to be giving out stimulus, and then I think a lot of the other states are going to start to do similar type of programs to get more stimulus out. I'm going to cover some of the news details for you. That way you get updated on what's happening with the stimulus checks. There is a lot of good stuff happening with the infrastructure plan. The Senate that actually voted on that, they're going to get that passed. The $3.5 trillion more stimulus plan that Nancy Pelosi is trying to get done. This is a budget plan. She's trying to sneak a lot of stuff in there. I know they're going to have so much stuff in there for government spending. It's just absolutely insanity that they're going to be spending that much money on government spending for a year. But they're going to try to get that passed. Inside of that should be the American Families Plan. Now, in the American Families Plan, they want to extend out the child tax credit. They want to possibly get the unemployment extended and maybe a 4th stimulus check out to everybody so everybody gets covered. There's a lot of pressure on the Democrats right now because they're trying to get this $2,000 monthly payment sent out to everybody, but they're trying to get the attention of Nancy Pelosi to try to sneak in some type of monthly payment. I personally think they're going to have to use that automatic stabilizer where they're going to send out checks based on the unemployment data. If the unemployment data goes up, checks go out. If unemployment goes down, checks they pull back checks. That to me is going to be the best thing going forward because they're going to bypass Congress. Because Congress, it takes forever for them to get these bills passed. They have to sit there and go back and forth and negotiate and vote and all that good stuff. So let me cover some of the details about Biden, what's happening, and I'll show you some of the states that are sending out stimulus checks. So Biden is talking about the September deadline for unemployment. Unemployment is going to be ending on September 6th. This was the federal $300 per week that people will be getting. They're going to, it was a temporary payment to everybody, and they're going to have it expire on the 6th. Now, the federal government probably is going to let that expire, and they probably won't push forward with another one. But every state received billions and billions of dollars, $350 billion total for all the states in the American Rescue Plan. And so what Biden is saying, hey, take that money and then put that into your unemployment benefit program so people can continue to get unemployment. If some of these states, it's crazy to me, but if some of these states are going to shut down businesses like that or force businesses to shut down again to try to, thinking that the lockdowns are going to work, then a lot of these businesses, they're just going to go out of business and they can't support themselves. And when businesses go out of business, that's employees that can't go work there. And it's unfortunate, but then you have all these other people out there that are looking for work and they're not getting that unemployment. So I think the states are going to have to come through and set up some type of program to get more money out. And it's good news for a lot of the states right now is because they're showing the other states what to do, how to get more money out. Texas right now, you have $2,000 in Irvine. It's going to get people, it's the educators trying to get them back to work. Tennessee, $1,000 will be sent to teachers, labeled hazard pay. Michigan's the same way, $500 to teachers, labeled hazard pay. Georgia, sending out $1,000 payments to teachers, part-time workers, or part-time teachers, $500. And then you have Florida, they're sending out a lot more money. They're sending out $1,000 payments to teachers, also to frontline workers. You got paramedics, EMTs, police, firemen, people like that are going to be getting a bonus in the state of Florida. New Mexico is sending out $750 payments to about 4,000 people in that state. Maryland looks like $500 for families and $300 for individuals who filed the earned income tax credit. Colorado, $375 is going to be sent out to Colorado. Now, California is one of the best states right now that's showing examples of how they're taking that stimulus and sending it out to people. You have $600 is going to be going out to people in California. It's the same as the federal, where it's $75 or less is going to be going out to people in that state. And then you have $500 is going to be going out to the dependents also. So that's good news for California. They do have a ton of money. I think the federal government gave them something like $30 billion, some crazy amount of money to the state of California. So they're taking that money and they're turning around and giving it to the people in that state in order for them to get more stimulus. It's good news, but the federal government right now, I don't know if they're going to come together to try to get that unemployment extended out. Normally in the past, what they've done is during the time of the unemployment expiring is when they start to get these bills ramped up. Congress comes back in September. They come back fully and start working on these things. They're going to try to get this infrastructure bill passed, which is going to be the jobs plan. Inside the jobs plan is going to be infrastructure for getting roads and bridges and things like that taken care of. So inside of this infrastructure plan, there's going to be a lot of money that's going to be going out to different areas for getting people back to work. This is the American Jobs Plan that President Biden had tried to get passed, and this looks like it's going to get passed. This is part one of two of his plans. You got the American Families Plan, which is also going to try to get extend out a lot of these stimulus plans that is happening right now. American Jobs Plan is going to put a ton of money into roads, bridges, public transport, passengers, electric vehicles. A lot of this new Green Deal they're talking about, this is going to be a lot of that money in there. The $3.5 trillion plan also is going to be putting a lot more money into a lot of these different areas. To me, it's just crazy that they can just print that money up and spend it. I mean, they're definitely not taking in that much money, every year, but they are trying to borrow that money from the Federal Reserve to spend that into the economy. Now, the Build Back Better plan is that American Jobs Plan and the American Families Plan. President Biden is going to try to push for that. He's going to try to get that done, but he has to wait for Congress to come back to work. I mean, to me, it seems like they should be in there working on these things right now, not taking a break. But Nancy Pelosi did say that they're going to try to bring the House of Representatives back into Washington so they can vote on this bill, this big giant budget bill that they have to do. They also have to raise the debt ceiling once again. That's something that always is something that comes up to where Senate has to worry about that. They create all this circus around it, but they end up just raising the debt ceiling anyways. I don't know why they have to continue to do this, but every so often they have to do the debt ceiling. If they don't raise it, then the federal government has to shut down because they can't afford to spend the money. But they just borrow it and spend it into the economy.
Why did your Republican colleagues vote for this bill?
Good question. I have to say I don't know the answer to that question, and I'm disappointed that anybody would support this bill. You said it exactly right. This isn't an infrastructure bill. This is a radical left woke politics bill that has stuff like gender identity mandates in it, the radical equity agenda, the Green New Deal. That's all in this bill. And by the way, it's going to cost trillions of dollars, pork barrel spending. There's stuff like bridges and highways in Canada in this bill. We ought to be building highways and bridges in the United States, not in foreign countries. This is a bad bill, and that's why I voted no.
So did the Republicans get scammed again?
Yeah, I'm afraid so. I mean, listen, this is all Joe Biden's agenda. That's the key thing to know. This is the Biden far left agenda, spending trillions of dollars to remake our society and to remake it in the image of the woke left. That's what he wants to do, and that's what he is succeeding in doing right now. And so it's absolutely imperative that Republicans say, no, this is not the right vision for this country. We're not an evil country. We're a good country. We don't need to be remade. Americans need to be empowered to live their lives. That needs to be our agenda. I mean, what it looks like to me is over $1 trillion in pork barrel spending. Only a small percentage of that actually goes to roads and bridges and in my state waterways, which are important. And what do Americans get stuck with? They get left with a massive tab that they're going to have to pay for with increased taxes, and they get left with woke politics, which is what most of this bill goes to pay for. That's why it's such a bad deal, and that's why Republicans need to oppose.
So the $1,400 checks that everybody was getting before, if you file your returns and you add new dependents on in 2021 or 2022, you're going to be getting another stimulus check. It looks like they're going to continue to give stimulus payments to those that add newborns in 2021. So 2022 filings, you file your returns, you get your newborns in there. I think they're going to also extend out the child tax credit. So it looks like having children in the United States is going to pay off over the next couple of years if they can extend that child tax credit out through the year 2025. Right now it's going to end in basically it's this year. So every child gets $3,600 under the age of 6, $3,000 between 6 and 17, and they've divided that up in half. They've taken half of that and then put payments out from July until December. So everybody's getting, that does have children, is getting a monthly stimulus check on the 15th of every month. So multiply that by how many children you have, probably a pretty good check coming in every month for you. But that's going to be where they extend that out to more and more people, and they're going to probably hopefully extend that out to more and more families that have more children that come up. I know a lot of us we don't have children anymore, they're older, and we're wondering, is there going to be more stimulus payments coming out? If they can get that automatic stabilizer set up, and if they can get that $2,000 monthly payment coming in on a monthly regular basis, then yes, that will be more stimulus. But that's going to have to be something they're going to have to work on, getting some type of universal basic income set up. That's something that didn't go too well in the last presidential, but I think there's going to be probably more steam for that coming up in the next probably a couple months to try to get that moving in the right direction. But every day, people in House of Representatives, they're trying to get their bills passed, they're trying to get whatever they want done. A lot of Republicans don't want to support another stimulus check because they just don't want to go into more and more debt, which I kind of agree with them. But I do think that a lot of these states that shut down their economies, they got to be able to turn around and pay those people out and get more stimulus out to everybody. Hey, so if you have any questions about stimulus, drop those questions in the comments below. This is your daily stimulus check. Updated information for today.